This video is part 2 of building out a new video editing, work, and gaming PC. In part 1, I built a fully functioning PC that did not have a discrete GPU, but rather relied on the AMD integrated graphics of the Ryzen 9 9900X CPU. Surprisingly, at least to me, it worked great for very basic Adobe Premiere Pro editing, making me wonder if I really needed a discrete GPU. Despite this, I decided to purchase possibly the greatest bang for the buck GPU available in a very expensive GPU market, the Intel ARC B580. So today I'm going to unbox it, install it, and do some very basic comparisons of before and after performance for video editing. All right, let's open this up and see what we've got. Wow, feels like quite a bit of effort went into this box to really present it in a nice way. When you open it, the back part pulls up and kind of tilts the GPU forward. It's kind of a nice touch. It's somewhat classy looking. I guess kind of in line with most Founders Editions or Limited Edition, I guess this one's called. Okay, I just need to add the cable from the power supply to the GPU now. So I have two choices for how to run this cable. Unfortunately, there's all this extra that I don't need attached here. I just need these 8 pins connected. And I suppose I can actually plug this in to see it a little better. So either kind of like that, or kind of like that. This is a little bit difficult to deal with for this installation, other than just tying it down. So personally, I'm of the opinion that's a little bit cleaner install. The cable would disappear like these others through here. That's not too bad either. This way here, there's of course a fan that blows right through on the GPU, which would push the heat up and towards these fans to help direct it out of the case. Cable would be a little bit in the way of that, depending upon how I install it. This way there's really no airflow issues. See, now I think I've changed my mind. I think I kind of like the lower one better. I think I'll get some Velcro to tie those together and try the lower one. So there it is. I think that's a reasonably clean installation. I guess it's time now to see what it can actually do. Okay, so now you can see that the Intel ARC B580 is installed. It's right here. It still shows the AMD Radeon and the integrated graphics. And I'm noticing that it uses quite a bit of the integrated graphics just to run OBS, which I'm using to screen capture here. Doesn't seem to affect the B580 that much. This is, of course, Premiere Pro, and I just want to get a sense of how it seems to respond now with the B580 installed and how it utilizes the various resources of the computer. And looking at this old timeline for the part 1 video of this series, I just want to move around here and see how it responds. It seems fairly responsive to me. I'm observing that here's the B580 showing a lot of spikes as it tries to render that stuff. The CPU is slightly affected, but it still appears to be mostly the GPU that's being taxed on that. Not using very much memory to do that, though. Okay, next, let's try exporting this and see how it compares to the integrated graphics. So once again, we're just going to use all of the default settings. H.264, output. And it's looking like it's roughly 6.5 minutes that it's projecting. So that's a massive improvement over the integrated graphics. Again, no surprise. That's what was expected. So now let's do the testing for after installing the B580, doing the Puget Systems Puget Bench benchmarking. And this is the standard benchmark again. So one strange effect that I've noticed since installing the ARC B580, Premiere Pro takes a really long time to launch, like maybe 2 minutes to launch. And prior to that, just with integrated graphics, it launched in like less than 5 seconds. So there's the final score for Puget Bench, and I'm pretty darn happy with that. A massive improvement over what my system scored before. And if I compare this to some of the scores that I'm seeing on the Puget Bench website, these are all results that have a 9900X processor. So there's my result right there. If I scroll down here, let's see. Here's one right here. This is a 4070 Ti Super. So this is another card that I was considering instead of the B580. This is really a higher tier card. It's about, I live in Canada, so my pricing will be Canadian, about $1,100 Canadian for this card, whereas I paid about $370 or something like that for the B580. So, you know, for the comparison, I think I'm very happy with the result I'm getting from this card. Now, I do notice that this score right below it, someone that has the same processor as me and also has a B580 scored significantly higher, really close to the 4070 Ti Super. And so I'm not sure why that discrepancy. Maybe I have some tuning to do with my system to release a little bit more performance there. And there's a 5080 at around 14,000. So that's a decent bump up in performance, but it's a massive bump up in price, of course. And so, yeah, overall, a 4060 Ti, that's an interesting one. I'm not sure exactly how much these go for right now, price-wise, but it's definitely more than what I paid for the B580. And as you can see, the same processor, same amount of memory, and we're scoring higher with my system. And there might be a little bit more for me to unlock on that. So overall, really happy with those results. Okay, so what's my overall take on the Intel ARC B580? Overall, I mean, I think it's performing well so far. Now, a lot of you might watch this and say, you compared integrated graphics to a discrete GPU, and obviously the results are going to be much better, and I very much agree with that statement. It really wasn't a comparison for me to find out which was better. The discrete GPU was always going to be better. I was actually just surprised at how well the system performed for video editing just with integrated graphics, to the point where I even thought to myself, do I actually need to get a GPU? In the end, if I'm going to play games, which I haven't even tested yet at all, definitely have to. I could definitely edit videos. The timeline performance was adequate, but not outstanding. And so that's obviously an improvement here. Obviously, the render time, much faster. There's other things that I'm probably not aware of. If I'm doing heavier graphics-intensive videos, I'm sure that I'm going to notice a massive difference, but that's something I haven't really done yet to this point. So far, I'm happy with the B580. I'm not sure about in the US, but or other places in the world, but here in Canada, it's nearly impossible to get this card. Just like the 5000 series for NVIDIA, it's unobtainium. I was watching various online sellers here in Canada for a while, and I happened to click on Best Buy, and they had 8 of them available, and I was just watching them disappear one after the other quite quickly, and so I had to make the call, and it was a fairly easy call to make given the reputation of this card so far. The only thing about this card that I've seen that everyone should be aware of is if you're using it as an upgrade and you have an older CPU motherboard combo, the performance is not up to snuff. It really reaches its full potential with the latest CPU and motherboard combinations. And so that's something to definitely be aware of. In my case, of course, that's what I had, so I wasn't concerned about that problem. And so, yeah, I think this is a great bang for the buck card, and I look forward to testing it further and see how it goes. Thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it.